All right. Hello, everybody. We're here.
Hello.
With episode 18. Yeah, episode 18 of The Haunting of Harrowstone. It's been some time. It's been some time. How's everybody feeling?
Tired, hating life, the usual.
Really good.
Sleepy, really good, tired, and hating life. Okay. All right. All right.
I'm great.
Life is a spectrum.
Nice.
So.
It fucked the cameras up. I love it.
I'm
I don't even know how
sleepy,
that worked.
but you know.
I have two lives, one outside of New World, one inside of New World.
Why is that working?
Both are all right. Both have their pros and cons, you know.
Gosh, play Inscription. It's fun.
Is it?
It's so good.
I'm figuring
That's
out.
what I was playing before.
Get into an argument with someone. I am a politician. All right. I am a diplomat for a settlement. They're like, what? I'm like, it's a long story.
So Inscription's good.
Oh, I'm hearing
Play
amazing things. I haven't played
There
it
we go.
yet.
You
Same.
don't even need me to. I don't even need to tell you about it. Just play it.
Okay.
Okay, that's better. Sorry, I don't know what just happened there, cam wise. I thought I had figured all that out. Hey, you know, fuck it, we're doing it live. That's how we handle things here. So, it seems like, you know, it seems like everybody's mostly okay. It's been a little while since we last played, and you know, it's okay that happens. Occasionally, life just sort of takes off. Sometimes for the better, sometimes for the worse. But we're back here at the table, and I'm happy to have us all back. I'll be honest, I missed you guys. I did. I get a lot more of the Xander guy than I get the rest of you. So,
Sorry.
thank you everybody else for showing up. So,
yeah, things have just been busy, man. You know how it gets.
yeah.
Yeah, I took off 4 days last week because of taxes. So
Yeah, it's a
Yeah.
nightmare.
Yeah,
Yeah.
last week I also had Edison randomly just message us like, hey, we're doing service in your area. Power's going to be out from 8 to 6. And then they're like, we lied. It's actually from 9 to 7. I was like, cool.
Yeah, that checks out. That's about right. So, can we talk about? I know it's been a while, but can we talk about what happened last time we played?
We slow roasted the town. Not
Okay.
we, but
You know,
somebody's got to. We don't have a cook anymore.
Well, we fought the
fuck,
note
do I-
taker here. I got you all.
Damn.
We battled the fire skull triplet peoples.
Yeah.
And we found out their names. I think you made these up on the fly, aka I think Imperial made the names up. Helen, Nandor, and Laszlo ended up being their names.
Yes.
She's remembering now.
Why is
See, look at the
Helen?
face.
Who's Helen?
Helen wasn't me, but Nandor and Laszlo were totally me.
Speaking of Imperial, her character, who we already are like, step on me anytime you want, turned into a big woman, which gives me what's that show called?
50 Shades. No, I'm just kidding. I don't know.
No, we're like
Steven Universe.
Steven's Universe. Yeah, big woman. You knew where I was going. We are like mentally linked. Yeah, gives me that vibes. Basically, we tried to trick them into fighting themselves, which was like how we actually solved the problem. And then we just tried to get the fuck out of this building that was on fire, that was trying to murder us. We possibly thought Kendra was dead, question mark.
Forgotten about and then dead, actually.
Yeah. Well, no, we took her out of we got her out of there. We tried to help as
eventually.
many people and children and whatever we could.
She was
get
rolled
out
up
of the
in a
building.
carpet and chucked under a pew while the place burned.
There was much
Look, I
The
carrying.
did
dog
what I
might have
could.
went to try to save her. I think we had to help.
Oh, it's giant woman, not big woman.
Yeah.
Okay, well, whatever. Y'all knew what you all knew what I was saying.
True.
And also they're synonyms, okay? And
I like cinnamons.
Soriana showed up and she was like, find him. We need to find the warden.
I love the hand motion. That was nice.
Find him.
Damn, that scared the shit out of me. I'm not gonna lie. That was Bubs. I was like, his mouth's not moving.
That's how good I am now, man. I'm a ventriloquist over the internet.
Yeah,
Perfect.
yeah. In between sessions, he's
Yep.
learned ventriloquism.
Throwing
That's
the
my
voice.
true voice. If you know my demon name, I will use that voice for you.
Damn.
Noted. To discover that later, I suppose. So yeah, there was in fact a giant woman. There were the arson triplets that we did get named live because, you know, why not? You did convince them to argue with each other based on some historical information that the Misty as Temerity uncovered, which is pretty cool. It was weird to roleplay 3 characters all at the same time for me, but you know, that wouldn't be the first time, I suppose. And it worked. It worked out really well. There were some deaths, though. Who died? Was there anyone prominent who died?
I didn't take any
Did
notes
Gibbs
about
die?
people dying, so.
Gibbs did die.
Gib did
Yeah.
die. Yeah.
Okay, I got
Yeah.
that.
Who
Okay,
died?
yeah.
Gibbs.
Gibbs.
Heffinus Gib.
Giblets.
I thought that was the previous episode.
Nope. That was that one.
Mm.
He was the one who cut into himself, right?
He actually didn't cut into himself.
Okay, I'm adding it to my notes. So.
He was
That is across
he
the
had the
chest.
last letters on his chest.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
Yeah.
I liked him anyway.
Yeah.
No, he's
See, that's why I think it was the previous episode because it said NNA on his chest.
Yeah, but he wasn't dead when we found those.
correct. Correct. He was discovered to have died from inhalation in the last episode.
Alright.
Not that it mattered anyway, because there was just so much fire. Needless to say, the town hall is not going to make it to the sequel. This is primarily the end for the structure, given, you know, the foundation
Look,
blocks.
We'll rebuild the foundation of the town hall.
You will.
I don't know about that. We'll see.
Look.
We'll see.
Look, I've been building a lot of things. I can do it.
You need to rebuild your
one of
body.
those
You got
hammer-
fucked up.
yeah, you barely made it out of there.
Yes. Yes.
I didn't take
judge
any
me.
damage.
It's true.
Everyone
I'm not
had
judging you.
everyone had steel beams falling on them, and we all know jet fuel can't melt those, so that was an issue.
God,
You know.
Jesus.
so old.
Old ass memes.
Yeah, no
God damn.
joke.
Like,
God
were
damn.
you even alive?
Yeah, right.
No, I was not. Yes, I was. Yes, I was.
Oh man.
Alright.
Needless to say,
He's
yeah.
alive in his mother's womb.
Yeah. It's it made for an interesting time. We did see some things happen. I took some notes based off of the last 45 minutes. We watched earlier in
Can I
stream.
take one little tangent to go on that tirade.
Sure.
There's literally a costume for 90s. 90s.
Oh yeah.
It just says 90s.
Excuse me?
Yeah,
Yeah, you
90s
can be
girl.
like a 90s person and it
The
has
out-
like
yeah.
an outfit for like 90s people.
What does that look
The
like? Is
outfit
it,
I sat
You know
at
how
the
like you
lunch
can be like
table
a
in
70s
is
person
the
or
costume.
50s? 90s is now a thing.
Does it come with frosted tips?
yeah, I was gonna say.
Okay, you need to
Hey,
stop.
look, yeah, you relax.
Listen, it's a funny joke.
Black
But I
black
just
leather
stop.
pants, white shirt, frosted tips, and then it's all done in grayscale.
Oh my gosh.
I think for the female
Oh,
version, it's like one of those white shirts with a big smiley face on it,
Yeah.
and then
Where's
it's like the little choker, those like rubber choker necklaces.
Oh my god. Do you know there's a whole ass store in the mall near me that looks like it walked out of Clueless?
Jesus Christ.
It's all plaid skirts and like suspenders
I
and
love plaid skirts.
Oh no, I'm here for that store. Don't get me
Yeah,
wrong.
me too.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I'm in for plaid skirts.
Hi.
all in
I
agreement.
love wearing plaid skirts.
So I think I feel like I have to have some sort of goal for 2022 TwitchCon.
Thigh highs and plaid skirts?
Yep.
I guess that's my goal as well, just to get there.
I
Oh,
wonder how
perfect.
it's gonna go.
We'll,
Be interesting.
we'll figure it out.
Damn.
People don't get their shit together like it is now, video calls, or not at all.
Well,
See, I suppose.
hopefully things.
Y'all come
clear
to
up a
me. I
little.
live in San Diego, so I
Oh,
don't really have to go
there
very
you
far.
MaggieCon.
Matt, yes.
We'll rent out
I'll
a
do some of that.
castle and
Yep.
we'll just play video game. Or
And wear
Just rent out a
plaid skirts.
robot
Dragons
to
over
go in your place and have a screen. You can sit at home and you can just guide them through the parties and
I
you
just
can
saw that
mingle
episode of
and-
Community.
yeah, there you go. Yeah.
Perfect.
Just have a robot representative.
Maggie
I
5
will
is
be
alive.
your robot representative.
Oh, I'm all about it.
Dope. I mean,
I assist you?
Oh, that's like
you're already on it. You're already on it. Perfect. Now, can we talk again about how you're mostly broken? You were burned. You were smacked by a burning girder, more or less, a load-bearing beam, which nearly killed you for the record. You were chat healed.
My hero, Rye, saved me.
You were chat healed, and then you took another 12 hit points, again, from burning, might I add. Rye similarly took at least half of his health in burning, which, for the record, in character creation, Rye is so belligerently afraid of fire. For him to stay in the burning building to rescue you is such a tremendous statement about how much he cares for Oz.
It's part of the cards, man. That's how strong it is.
He may never admit it, but that's hugely important there. I definitely think it's worth noting.
There were things that were revealed that have maybe changed Rye's attitude.
Yeah.
Maybe he wouldn't have been so willing before, but he's a fondness.
One word.
Mums.
Mums. Yeah.
Mums. Yep.
Mums. Yeah. You gotta, if you gotta burn for your friend, I burned for free last time.
True.
So at least I can get something out of the bargain.
You might say it's a little hot in here.
It was. I hope it's not anymore. I hope we're in the rain now outside.
From hobgoblin to hot
It's a different kind of hot now.
Rye lost not only some of his hair, but you scorched off an entire eyebrow, most of the side of your facial hair. You had burns all the way up to your neck as is, so this is just like proceeding up. It's like shifting up your face at this point.
So he's like more rugged Zuko then?
Kinda, yeah. That's a way to look at it. Yeah.
What kind of is this like a permanent? Was it bad enough to be permanent?
No. It's not.
My hair gonna grow back?
Your hair will grow back. Your skin's looking a little red, right? It's looking a little burnt up, but not like
leathery.
Not so bad that you're not gonna grow hair
I'll let
back.
you know what happens when you really get burned. Your skin just comes off, peels.
Yeah, man.
Like if you actually really get that burned, you will you need skin grafts from your ass cheek to put back on your hand.
That doesn't sound fun.
Magical healing.
Yeah,
that's true. We do have magical healing. That is the beauty. And for those of you who are like mums like the flower, no, it's a secret word for.
It's a code word.
Secret friendship club. Okay.
We'd tell you, but
then we'd have to kill you.
Temerity.
I mean, half the players don't even know about this.
Temerity got hit so hard it blacked her out, like almost instantaneously.
Oh yeah.
And you guys used
kind of her fault because she lifted the ceiling,
raising the roof.
She raised the roof. Yeah.
You, my friend, are a party queen.
I mean, next time I can just let everyone die. It's fine.
Didn't you try to carry the thing and hit somebody with it? I can't remember.
Rip the roof.
You're trying to rip the beam off, right?
I think I was trying to encourage her to bust out the top because if there was ventilation, the smoke, and I think what happened is you criticaled or something. You hit it
so hard.
Yeah, you hit it real hard.
You said raise the roof, and I took it literally.
I just wanted to party.
Yep, a load-bearing beam came down and clocked you in the face, knocked you out. Then
we need a lot of water.
You guys, you then had to use the last of the pulls, the magic, the wild magic tags, to remove that so that you could be dragged out of the building and not burn alive.
Because I was rather large.
Yes.
Rye was trying to pull you out, by the the carpet or whatever, and then Oz was just sitting on your stomach, go. Just riding. He's a giant woman here.
I was helping. It's like when your cat helps you, but they're really just in the way.
They just sit on what you're doing and they just look at you. Yeah.
Tripp was not a part of the scenario at all. He was just fading in and back, back in and out of relapsing through the fire.
He was checking out his tentacle arm.
No.
Yeah.
Not this session.
At that point, he was gone. He had that 1,000-yard stare, and he actually went into discussing, no, Warden, guards, get the help, talking about Kendra on the ground. He was full on seeing some of the past that he lived through. Torvin tried all he might, just the rolls were not in his favor that last session. So we had to have Eli. Eli came in, big damn hero. Saved Kendra. Pulled Torvin.
The dog, because I failed for the first perception, and the dog was like, "Come on, man."
Oh, that's right. Yeah. The Lassie moment. Yeah. Burning building. That's right. I recall now.
Where is everybody? They're still in their shit.
They're in that easy bake over there.
It was a mess. You guys nearly had some character losses. It was a close call. I mean, honestly, without the chat save, it may have resulted in Oz dying. So it was a close experience all around. I will say,
chat saved me. It's true.
For the sake of the experience, there is a card that has been drawn. But because of the card and the effect, I'm not going to say what it is. However,
oh no,
the card doesn't affect the party. This card only affects a single player. Its events will come into play, and I will let everybody know by the end of the session what's happened, if you haven't already guessed. There are 2 luck rerolls, still lots of space for more, if it happens.
So we have 2 luck rerolls?
Yes, you guys have 2. 3 left to be earned. Anything else? Anything else that you felt like needed to be discussed or talked about before we fire in?
And Hap is alive, the dog?
Yes, Hap is fine. Hap went back under the gazebo, hid under his blanket.
There was something I wanted to bring up.
Okay.
The doors were locked, guys. And a very particular sound was heard when it locked. If anyone remembers, we heard it once before.
Yeah, I don't like it.
Remind?
Mr. Torvin, he used arcane lock on the door when the Thunder Orb was stolen. That same sound was heard in the church.
Wait, are you trying to put this on
my
buddy, my best friend besides Oz?
Your smoke buddy, your weed dealer?
I smoked his wife. Right? We've been through things.
Yeah.
I mean, the only necromancer we've encountered in the town that hates necromancers?
Look, that guy is sus. That's why I didn't feel so bad about stealing his stormy orb.
Dude, he was all sussy baka. I was like, bro, look at this, man.
He wanted us to
and
smoke
he wasn't
his dead
there.
Wife.
He wasn't there
we didn't
either.
see him. We didn't see him.
I
That
waited for him.
There.
I was looking for him.
But when we went inside, the door locked on us. That's what I'm saying.
He wasn't in there. He didn't come in. You were waiting for him outside. You didn't see him ever.
Yeah, that's a good observation there.
He was invisible.
It's a possibility. Yeah. Who knows what tools he has at his disposal?
Well, we know
a
what
whole bunch of elementalists. That's what he told us. He already told us what he has at his disposal.
Yeah, we know which one he doesn't
I have
anymore.
all this power.
Well, then, why would he allow us to meddle in?
Just keep your enemies close.
Maybe he was monologuing.
Yeah.
What if the elementalists are in the prison?
We were in his place of power.
But see, the thing is, I feel like if he really is one of the villains, the only thing he was giving us was insight onto why he's feeling justified for what he's doing, if he's a part of what he's doing at all. That could be it.
Man, I
said somebody killed his wife or made his wife die.
He's probably like the Sanderson sisters. He's just like, children,
I think the professor.
Yeah.
Do your life force.
It's like Anakin Skywalker, just killing younglings left and right. You know.
There aren't any kids in this town.
Does he hate
But the
Sans?
kids that are in this town are with him.
Yeah.
Question mark?
Yeah, that's another thing. He's like the teacher. He's like he's supposed to be like a. If he's bad, that's very bad.
Yes.
Like it's not bad that he's bad. It's very bad that he's bad. He's got the children.
Yeah.
He makes people into blunts. All right. You got to be careful.
Perfect. Okay. Since that has been put onto the table, let's go ahead and kick us off here. No longer in recap. We find ourselves no more than an hour later. Our heroes, you lot. I don't know if I necessarily want to say heroes because at times you do some
I'm not a hero.
bizarre moves.
Be real.
I'm very heroic.
The protags.
You're probably the most heroic of all of us. Let's be real.
You find yourselves
many lives
back at the Lorimore residence. It's all of you, plus a few more. A few people have decided to stick around. Obviously, Tripp is there. Tripp is, in fact, there. Some of the town regulars have also come back due to lack of safety or even proper homing at this point, some out of pure curiosity. The hearth is lit and warm. The kitchen floods with the aroma of cooked foods. But the weight of previous actions isn't quite removed from the palette of memory. The air is heavy, and to describe it as somber would do no justice. As you glance around yourselves, the people that are also in attendance, the full town council, one you've never even met, Jamenda, Kendra, and the sheriff. Jamenda is in the kitchen. She seems to be cooking what she seems to know how to, or what seems to remain in the residence at this place. Not that...
I would like to be in the kitchen with Jamenda. Also, am I healed up? Do we rest?
No.
Or is this the same night?
It's
only been an hour.
It's not even been an hour.
Oh, shit. Okay. Oz will help cook food for people.
Okay.
Being there.
Let's see if Oz can happily walk. What's Oz's hit points at?
9 out of 15.
9 out of 15. Okay, so that's really not bad.
Yeah, comparatively to my overall health.
Yes.
I do have low health, but
yeah, that's not bad.
Maximum is not very high.
Correct. Okay, cool. Yeah, we'll see. That's fair. You're probably like...
I think because someone healed me or something, because I don't think I was at 9.
You weren't.
I think I have 3 lay on hands left, and I was gonna use it on Kendra and Oz if I was gonna get another rest soon.
Yeah.
I have like 7 lay on hands, so...
You guys are more than capable of gaining a rest. This feels like a situation where you'll have an opportunity to, or, you know, it's the town, right? So this could be one of those things where it's the calm before the storm, or the storm before an even bigger storm. So you just have to gamble it. Do you trust the people that you're around enough to rest? I mean, does the paladin have to technically rest, or do you have to pray? How do you gain your spells back?
Well, I don't have spells, but they replenish each day, is what it says.
Okay.
So, I guess if the day just passed, I wouldn't technically need to rest, but...
Well, it was already late, right? It was pretty late as is. You you had just come from the undead attacks at the town, if you recall. You yourself had to deal with removing and moving the body of Petrus Lorimor. He's still tucked away in a trunk in what would be the maid's quarters.
That's right.
Smells great.
His body is in the trunk.
I mean, we got to take that back to the Restlands when we head that direction. So that's towards Harrowstone, I think. So
yes, that's accurate.
So we can drop that off on the way.
So we see Oz in the kitchen. You wish to be cooking. You are banged up for sure. Your robes are probably burned up a little bit. You see that most of the hair on your arm that had been exposed probably burned off. Some of the lingering hair around your head. You'll even notice that your hat was singed and burned in spots. Yep, even your hat. There's even spots on Pecker where his feathers are darkened.
Smells delicious.
What is everybody else doing?
I've broken out the last and best of my tobacco and offering the bag open on the table.
Okay.
I'm not too keen on smoking at the moment after escaping a burning building with smoke.
That's fair. That's fair.
It's made me smoke more.
The good smoke, right?
Where have you placed Temerity? Where did anybody lay Temerity down?
Under the peach tree, where she always wanted to be.
I
mean, if anything, probably at one of the bottom guest bedrooms, or I guess that shared quarters.
Yes.
Because I mean, I don't think we would try to move people upstairs. So yeah.
That's where the professor's body is too, though. And I mean, in a trunk in there, but.
Okay, did you lock the trunk?
Yeah, did you lock the trunk?
Let me get you some blankets.
He was a zombie, so yeah. I mean, I probably would have locked the trunk.
Okay, all right. Do you have a lock, or did you put anything on the trunk? So it
only if I found one laying around. Yeah.
That trunk's not locked.
The trunk's not locked.
If no one's attending
I don't have a lock. I tied it up with rope. Okay.
Okay, sure. I mean, you got it right. Like we know you've got rope.
I have rope.
You've got Grappy, right? You still have Grappy with the googly eyes.
Yeah.
We heal her with the grappling hook.
Tripp, what are you doing?
If Temerity and Kendra are in the same area, I would probably be trying to help whoever's working on them and trying to keep my mind off of pretty much reliving like the last moments of my life, because that would be a very no pun intended harrowing experience to go through again.
Sure. Who is in there?
My room, and I gotta watch over Kendra anyway, so.
Okay.
So then me and Eli.
I'd probably be in there, making sure no one's dying.
All right, so before I move to Rye at this point, I want to focus here on Eli for a moment. Eli, things have gone from a neutral to less than neutral experience, a bad to a worse experience through and through and through. Things just seem to be accelerating. You've recognized this, you've seen this. What is going on in the mind of Eli right now? Like, help me and the viewers to understand what are you thinking?
Well, Eli doesn't trust any person in his party at all. He doesn't trust Torvin because of the stuff that he heard from Jorfa. He doesn't trust Temerity because she wouldn't come clean with him about what happened with Zokar?
Yeah.
Zokar, yeah.
He doesn't trust Rye because he's Rye. And Oz, he's already caught lying to him multiple times. So he's basically, he still feels obligated to, honor his word to help, but he's ready to go and snuff out the root of the problem and then to be rid of everybody as quickly as possible and return to some normalcy back at home, just, making swords and armor and shields.
Sure.
And yeah, the weight of everybody is definitely weighing down on him. Because he's had, he's really had to just try to pick up a lot of dropped balls, he feels like, as well.
I get you.
So, he's just trying to stick to his code.
Too soon.
And keep everybody alive as much as he can, but not too thrilled with his group of adventurers at the moment.
Fair. Tripp sits near you. He seems to have an earnest, at least for the immediate time, and a very earnest look and of concern over his face. And he keeps glancing back and forth from Kendra to Temerity. It's almost as if he's waiting for some instruction to maybe help. He certainly doesn't want to hinder. And would you say, like, seeing Eli, would we see that Eli is frustrated, or he might be under some duress?
I think the fact that he's being more quiet and less confident as far as like taking control of the room and trying to talk with everybody and kind of like guide everything. He's just kind of like a little more closed off and like quiet than normal, I would guess, and just very serious. Yeah, everything just got lit on fire.
If I was able to at least discern that much, like to see that he's also kind of off.
Something's certainly weighing on him. You can tell that much.
And
I would approach him.
Crazy eye.
Okay, how do you approach him?
Walk over and then tap his arm. Master Eli, are you okay?
Yes. I've had better days.
Seems we all
like have. Every day has been a better day. So I just don't understand. I don't know what's happening. I don't know why the others won't tell me what happened to Zokar.
Yeah.
Wait, right there. I saw that, and everybody else saw that. That moment, Ronald, you just had something hit you. Would Tripp tell him?
I think he already did the first time.
I think there was a lot going on.
He said he died from negligence.
Yes.
That's right. That's right.
Which is extremely vague.
Tell him the truth. Chat killed Zokar. Tell him the truth, all right? If you're going to tell him the truth, tell him the truth. It's Chat's fault. You want to blame someone?
Absolutely.
Blame any of those usernames in that list
Eli?
over there.
I have a list of names. They come and go frequently, but here they are. No, but I would answer the question. I think Tripp would answer the question, but given the circumstances now of everything being settled down, it wouldn't be as I guess as brazen as the way he put it the first time.
Okay.
Or as crass. Is that correct? Yeah,
sure.
It wouldn't be as blunt, I guess.
Or dramatic even.
Yeah. Well, in the tavern, he was being attacked by another one of the undead, and something had went wrong, and we could only assume would be the aether of the air, the weave of magic, and something happened, an explosion, and he was caught in the blast.
Oh, someone tried to use magic again.
Correct.
Thought we had agreed not to try and use magic.
I mean,
since every single time it ended up basically in disaster.
I mean, in all fairness, we can't.
Aside for the damn peach tree,
we can't tell casters not to wield their magic in the event that what they might be planning might be of some help to someone.
No, I understand. What I don't understand is why I'm not being told. It's like no one trusts me. Everyone thinks I'm going to turn on them.
Do you trust them?
It's hard to trust someone that has lied to you or has held the truth from you. Which, so you're saying that
I know I'm in the body
someone's
of a
magic
child.
caused the death of Peverin's father.
Yes, but going back to what you were saying, I know I'm in the body of a child, but I do have enough experience to realize that you, upon initial meeting of the group, I've also had a very closed door. And while you do want the group to open up to you, which makes sense, I mean, all of you do have to work together to meet a common goal. I feel like you closed your door first and then were upset when they didn't open up theirs to you.
And exactly how have I not been honest and forthcoming? I've shared all of my information with the group. I've laid my life down multiple times to save everyone.
It's not
even Rye.
People know you're honest, but you're not open. And you're not necessarily withholding truths, but you do close yourself off from everyone because you fear that they're lying to you or deceiving you. People at the end of the day don't want to hurt others intentionally, at least the good ones. And while everyone here is a mess, I believe they're all good to some extent. So even if they don't want to tell you everything, maybe it's because they themselves feel that they can't, or they don't want you to feel as helpless as they do with the situation at hand.
Don't personally think that I've held any information back. I've answered any question that's been asked of me. If anyone wanted to know more, they're welcome to ask as well.
Then say that out loud to them. Don't just think it.
They all look at me like I'm crazy ever since I saw what Rye actually is inside.
I mean,
which sounds crazy just saying out loud to myself.
You can see exactly what I am, and yet we're still having this conversation now, right?
No, I haven't seen you. But I can imagine. I've seen your arm.
You should actually be able to see my full form now, right? Didn't you have the inscription put on you? You should be able to see my full wraith form.
Not while you're inside Pevrin, though.
Yeah, it's a little different. When he's external, then he can see it. But when you reach outside the body, it looks a lot less human than not.
Yeah.
Maybe I did see you once.
Yeah, because I was standing in front of the group. There was a point when Pevrin was still in the room.
I can't remember if I was
in
there
that safety
for that
room
or not.
But Tripp will try to see if he can project himself, at least like his head and torso outside of Pevrin, to see if he can kind of project himself to see if he can do that. I mean, he doesn't really have full control other than he feels like the tendrils at this point.
So, a couple of things. You know that the body of Pevrin is injured.
Yeah.
You know that if you evict yourself from him at the moment, he will collapse.
No, not evict myself. Just push a portion of myself out.
Give me. Let's see here. This is more along the equivalent of shaping your own will. So give me a will save.
16.
I'll leave that to an even or an odd.
I'll do odd.
Okay. It's even. You can kind of feel like you're beginning to sort of pull yourself away from him, but you're stuck. You're stuck. It's like there's a boundary, of course, that is preventing you. You just quite haven't mastered it yet. You know how to get there. It's just going to take flexing this muscle.
After he tries a couple of seconds and doesn't get any results, he just kind of shrugs his shoulders. Well, you know that I'm not living, at least not anymore. Anyway, I'm going to try to find some washcloths and possibly some pain relievers for our friends here. I guess at the end of it, it's just some wise words from the dead. And he just gives him a soft smile and gives him a polite bow. If you need anything, Master Eli, I'll be around to help out if I can. And he gives him another pat on the shoulder and tries to go and find some stuff to help Temerity and Kendra.
As soon as he leaves the room, I'm gonna whisper in my breath, the last thing I'm gonna fucking do is take advice from that thing.
As his heel leaves the doorway, you can no longer see his shadow darkening the room. Everything sort of stops before you. The dust that seems to hover from the fireplace, the breathing of Temerity and Kendra. You can no longer even hear the beat of your own heart. Everything sort of slows down around you. It's almost as if something has stopped time. You glance around. Is this an opportunity for you to do anything? Because this feels very different. You know something is off.
I mean, I'll immediately look around the room, and if there's, and check around, look for anything that might have caused that, or any being that may have caused that. I guess kind of like a perception, or go investigate it. Like, what in the hell?
When you turn to look around the room to sort of take it all in, you do notice something very strange. You actually see the room begin to shift and change around you, particularly as you peer down over at the fireplace, the hearth itself that rarely ever gets used. Oftentimes, if it was used, it was to burn documents, anything that may have been of importance to previous employees that were left at this residence. But what's different now, as it seems to almost slowly stretch up, leaving no noise, no mark, nothing before you. It begins to rise up on the wall, and the darkness begins to emit a very, very small blue light before a figure steps through the mouth of the hearth. A figure clad in what looks to be darkened silver armor. He steps silently. Very masculine by design, broad chest, but when you make your way up to the head itself, it is not at all what you expected. It looks more monstrous than not. The face of a dragon, with wild blue hair seemingly flowing back like there's wind pulling it. The hands etched around what looks to be a long sword at the waist. The figure takes a step in.
I see you have some questions. The burning around your eye. There's things you wish to know. I wish to help. Not because it is of my deeds. Your actions have sought the attention of my lady. The Lady of Graves.
I think your attention might be misplaced. I already serve another, and what happened to my eye was simply an accident.
An accident? Is fate an accident?
You believe in fate?
I believe in many things, Eli Torvin. But more importantly, I know never to doubt my lady's will and ask. She wishes for me to see to you, to answer questions of yours. And I realize that you're seen by another. A god of fire, a forge. But you serve him. Does he serve you?
My faith has gotten me this far. I'm still alive, and any hardships that I go through are just a path that I must take to forge myself for the better.
Your faith has gotten you this far? Or is it the will of another? We've seen your deeds and your actions. We know of your past. We know whose wing you are sheltered by the dwarven brothers of that town. They've shown you his word. But did he call to you? You plead and plead for his aid. You herald his name as you run tithe into battle. You swing your hammer in his name. But what has he offered you?
It's not my place to question. All I can do is have faith and hope that the path that is set before me is the correct path. And who is your lady?
The Lady of Graves. Pharasma herself.
Pharasma, right. Yeah, I know that.
I am merely the voice.
It seems that she may want to have chat with another member of my group. Temerity. Maybe she's the one that could use the assistance more than I. What is it exactly that you are looking for me? Looking for me?
You were granted sight. You were granted sight of the grave. And your heart, while it may fall for another god, it cries out for the aid of another. I am not here to sway you one way or another, simply I do not care. But the Lady of Graves wishes to extend her will unto yours.
In what type of boon would that be exactly?
You continue your journey. You herald what you believe is right. Your faith may be less blind. You are allowed to question. Gods recognize that they can be fallible, but they are proud, and they wish not to be called upon this. They answer for their own actions. But here, you want answers. You already have the sight. She is willing to allow you free reign of control. This is your call. Pharasma calls to you. Abandon the gods who do not work with and for you. Have faith in a god who will offer you more. Or you can continue to toe the line and let your faith be split. Those that have tread the path that you are upon do not live long.
You and your goddess of death have no sway over me, and if you were to do me a favor, I would appreciate you removing this curse from my eye, for it is not something that I wish to have any longer. I have enough burdens to carry.
I will pass the word along. And in time, you will lose that sight and any natural bound sight tethered to it. Fate can be cruel. You simply offered a redemption. My job is done. I return to the boneyard.
He waits for any last words that you may have.
If it were to please Torag, I would rip this eye from my head myself.
Very well.
He turns, and he steps back into the place of hearth. And as quickly as his shadow seemed to darken that area, it begins to slowly return back to its original shape. And you can see the dust particles in the air continue to float freely on and shift throughout the room. The breathing returns to both of the women in the room, and you can hear and feel your own heartbeat. Now you hear the footsteps of Tripp as he walks down the hall. That moment lasted but a blink, but for you, the full conversation. Tripp.
Cool, man.
Tripp.
Yes.
Where do you go?
I mean, it would be to gather any additional materials. Seeing that Eli is kind of lost in thought, then potentially either to Oz or Rye, or even Torvin, if they're available for assistance. So whoever's in that area. But I think, oh my gosh, Oz is cooking. correct?
Oz's assistant was cooking.
Yeah.
That would leave Torvin and Rye.
Torvin and Rye. Yeah, if they're available, then get their assistance to see if I can get some like washcloths and stuff for Temerity and Kendra.
Then Rye, Rye, Torvin, I don't want to assume where you are. Why don't you kind of inform me here? Let us know what this looks like right now. You're basically decompressing from the events.
Yeah, Rye is also cooking. He's been simmered a little bit, so he's just chilling like on that couch that he has kind of taken up on.
Sure.
There in the main room, and he's sort of just sitting about as still as he can, just kind of trying not to focus on the pain, and he's trying to understand his own thoughts on this. He probably wouldn't even recognize anyone talking to him right now. He's kind of just meditated out, sitting in the couch.
And Torvin?
I'm wandering around to a large degree, just looking at people, making sure people are still moving and breathing and being people. I'll definitely be offering smoke tobacco to Rye.
Okay. Right. Do you make this? Do you take this upon you? Do you smoke, or do you? What do you do here?
I look at him, and I just kind of give him like a no thanks, but not in like a rude way or anything. Just that I seem to have my attention elsewhere right now. And I just kind of go back to kind of just like sitting there, like just kind of trying to work through my pain and my thoughts a little bit.
Tripp, you enter into the primary room here. You can see that Torvin seems to be making his rounds. He's offering people anything that may help them decompress or relax post the events. It looks as if Rye is trying to find a way to like meditate, just de-stress, but remove himself from the pain. I've seen people do this before. This isn't the first time, and he's focused.
Then yeah, make my way to both of them. I'm assuming while you're kind of in the middle of offering them the tobacco and the refusal for it, I would kind of lean over the couch. Sorry to bug you, but there's something I need to give back to you. And the dagger that I took from you last time, I will kindly give back.
Rye opens his eyes and looks at Peverin and takes it back and puts it back on his belt. Just kind of gives a nod. Kind of looks Peverin over though. Like, is Peverin damaged or like burnt or anything?
No, Peverin wasn't. He wasn't burned, right? You notice that the shins are looking a little mussed up. His arms probably got a few cuts and scrapes. His face might have like a small cut or scrape, but most of that was done courtesy of the explosion from the fireball.
Gotcha. Okay, but otherwise he looks unharmed, right?
Yes.
Physically, yeah, he's good.
Yeah, physically, right?
Right.
Besides the whole dad thing. I ask him where Eli is.
He's currently, like many of the others, in his own thoughts right now in the infirmary with Temerity and Kendra. I've actually come over from there just now to see if anyone might be able to help with attending to them, if you don't mind. Mr. Torvin, if you also wanted to assist, or unless you're currently busy with other affairs. Wyld, you're muted.
Torvin groans far too much while standing up. I'll help.
Thank you. Master Rye, did you also want to go and talk with him?
Yeah, Rye nods and sort of stands up. What do you need?
Some cloths, possibly some herbs for burns, things like that. Temerity seems to have some of the worst of it compared to Miss Kendra, but I'm not anyone in the medical field, but I mean, I think they'll pull through. They're still breathing.
I look over at
gone.
What'd you say? Sorry.
My herbs I bought, they're gone now.
Oh, then I guess just cloths
Cloth and water.
Yes. I'll go get the water and I'll see if we can find some cloths as well. And he gives both of you guys a bow. They'll be right over this way, and he kind of shuffles his hand over towards the room. If you gentlemen want to go see them.
I look at Torvin, and I just say, we should talk to Eli.
I think it's time. We cannot continue this. We have to take charge now.
This might be the only lull that we get. Who knows what's coming around the corner.
Oz, you exit the kitchen area with prepared foods to dispense to everyone that might be awake right now or might be hungry, looking to recover. When you round the corner, you see that there seems to be a very stern or serious conversation that's happening between the two men and the boy.
Oz, in his very charismatic fashion, walks up with the tray of food and he's like, well, looks like y'all could use some food. And he offers the tray, just like butts in.
What did Oz make?
Maybe like a soup. Like a really hearty soup.
Couple of bowls?
Yeah.
Okay.
And there's enough for everybody?
Yeah.
We can get a bowl for Eli?
Of course.
I look at Oz, now that the aftermath has kind of, died down a little bit, and I'm a little awkward, actually, around Oz right now, just a little bit. I feel weird for having helped him. So, just kind of like in an uncharacteristic way, like you said, like I went and I braved the fire, which is really weird. And I didn't understand that I cared for my companion like that, So my feelings for Oz right now are a little awkward. So I should be acting a little awkward.
Sure.
Thank you. And I take the bowl. We were about to go talk to Eli. Is there another bowl maybe we could make for him?
I don't see why not.
Wait a moment.
Oswald turns around, starts waddling, but when you say that, he turns back.
I look at the bowl and I pour it into a tankard and go, "Hey, you could use that."
You just drink it like like a protein chick. I like it.
Oz nods and waddles his way back to get some more soup.
Sure. There's plenty. Everybody can have as much as they'd like at this point.
Cool. Once we get the bowl, I think I'm gonna go ahead and take it to Eli with Torvin in tow. Is that?
Yep.
Okay. So we'll enter where Temerity and everybody's at.
Sure. You walk to the rear room. You can see that Eli appears to be, I wouldn't say distraught, pensive. I would say he's relatively pensive. The brow is furrowed. He seems to be, I would say, almost like looking down deep in thought, but also very much aware of his surroundings. Hearing the footfall, would you look back up, or would you just stay sort of like in your thought about what just occurred for you, Eli?
I'm gonna look up, and as I see Rye walk in, like, oh, it's just the man I wanted to see, Burning Man Rye. And
his clothes are singed, his hair is removed in spots across the side of his head. He's missing lots of his beard. His whole eyebrow is gone. He's missing pretty much almost all the eyelashes on that one eye as well.
I hand Eli a bowl of food, and hey, can we take a seat? We have a lot to discuss.
I think we have more to discuss than you probably know. I'll look uninterested in the food. Place the bowl on the bedside. I'm assuming there's like a side table there. Which usually I have a pretty healthy appetite, especially when we have a moment of respite. Are the others coming
Torvin is quickly behind. You'll hear the waddling footfall of Oz, and Tripp will return after finding some cloths. It looks like you were able to fetch a very small pail, or even like a bowl of warm water that Jamenda had been working with.
Cool. Yeah, I'll join him if I've caught that part where he said they were going to start talking.
Temerity, can I get a fortitude save from you, please? Remember, you guys do have luck rerolls if you are unhappy with it.
How many?
Just one. Oh, you have 3 luck rerolls.
Okay, fortitude. Sorry, I had Roll20 open, but not my sheet.
It's okay. I do it all the time.
Bloop.
It's not super great. Would you want to try again? Yeah, it's not going to be enough. Okay. All right. You see there is a small amount of stirring in Temerity, but she doesn't seem to rouse.
I wish she were awake for this. I have a lot of things I'd like to say, but what did you want to talk about first, Rye?
I look over at Torvin, I look back at Eli, and I say, well, I know you have questions about Zokar, so let's talk about him.
Oh, Tripp was a little more forthcoming than the rest of you earlier.
Earlier, we were in the middle of some very dangerous things. But, yes, he is naive in that way.
He said that someone attempted to use magic and it set off an explosion, which I understand considering our history here so far, but what I don't understand is everyone's feeling that they need to hide it from me, as if I'm not trustworthy.
I very noisily drag a stool to break the moment to the fire next to them and sit down. Son, it wasn't that you weren't told. It wasn't the time. It's not about you. Why is this about you? It wasn't the time.
Me. I just need to be well informed so when I make my decisions, they can be the most educated.
May I ask you a question then? Would it have helped or hindered? We had a moment and we managed the moment, and I apologize if that seemed difficult for you. I'm not here for your feelings, son. I'm here to make sure that the best can be done in the moment, and that's all.
And I'm not here to be coddled. I just don't want to be lied to or have important information withheld from me.
Well, just between yous here, like, I wanted to smite her, so I was a little concerned that you might. Right now, I needed to solve this moment.
So it was Temerity.
It was the magics here.
Yeah, I thought we agreed to not use magic unless it was absolutely necessary. Was it absolutely necessary? It's not fair. She's not awake to defend herself.
You guys,
and I'm of course upset that Zokar is dead. But I'm more upset that I don't feel like I have the support of the rest of our group. That I can't be trusted with certain information.
It's not
like I'm crazy.
It's just the moment.
I feel pretty confident saying this. I don't know any of you really, but what I do know is that Temerity has done nothing so far but try to help. And when we ran up on Zokar, he was in a lot of trouble. He was being attacked. I assume she intended to save him. but
it took me a day for me to accept that.
I mean, I've seen Temerity's character. I've seen her save a child from death. I know she isn't evil. Shoots a side glance at Rye. But like I said, if there's to be trust, and if we are to defend one another and have each other's back, then there needs to be that trust. And I think that actually I'm not so different from you all. I think that when someone sees me in brand new armor, singing praises of my god, that it can be off-putting. Most people that are in my profession have different upbringings. They come from a noble background or wealth or a position of privilege. And maybe if I regale you with a story from my past, that it will help you all understand who I am and where I come from. So, I'm from Califas. It's a large city. I'm sure some of you have been there. Like several of you, well, I should say that in Califas, being orphaned isn't something uncommon. Their children are left on doorsteps. Parents are killed. And regardless, I ended up on the doorstep of an orphanage as well. Similarly to Rye, although completely different place. And the one who took me in, her name was Mother May. She was the only comfort that any of us knew growing up as a child. I can't remember ever smiling during childhood, but I know that early in my youth, I had to deal with death. Death has been following me my whole life, and only years after even being able to speak and move freely around the city, a pestilence struck our orphanage, and all I can remember are just the rats. When you try to sleep, rats crawling on you, and the disease, and watching all of my brothers and sisters and Mother May wither away from disease until I was the only one left. And then I had to sleep in the streets with the same rats that I assume aided in taking their lives. And it wasn't until I was so hungry that I was forced to try to steal from a dwarven armory that I was offered my first, or I should say second act of mercy, which was for my master to take me in. I don't know what he saw in me, some sort of promise, but surely enough, with enough time and distraction, the idea of death and pain and suffering were replaced with other ethics, hard work, my craft, creating something that could protect others. And it's those devotions and those things that I draw my strength from. So I should say that I'm really not so different from all of you, especially hearing Rye's story. It sounded profoundly similar to my own upbringing. And when I finally felt seen by my god Torag, it was the first time that I can remember even smiling. And I've tried to have an outlook of positivity on life since then. But ever since I've walked into this place every day, every hour, I just feel like this place is chipping away at me a little piece at a time, and it's just bringing me back to the streets and the death. And I don't know if this makes me crazy. I don't know if this sounds crazy, but before all of you walked in here, time completely stood still. The breathing stopped in the room of Temerity and Kendra, and an extremely powerful being stepped out of the fire in the corner and approached me and said that they yeah, I'm still shaking. I'm still shaking. He said that the goddess of Pharasma wanted to show me favor and would offer me a boon. And I just kept thinking back to my childhood and all of the death and the pain and the suffering and how hard it was for me to get away from that life. And if I were to turn my back now on the only things that have ever made me happy, that would be a disservice not only to Torag, but to myself. And so I told this incredibly powerful being that I didn't want any help.
You haven't been smoking whatever he's got, have you?
I look at Oz.
Maybe I am insane. I don't know.
I think you might need a nap.
Perceptions, please. Everyone outside of Eli.
Sure.
Including me, or no?
Not you.
17. Look, Oz doesn't believe in gods. He's agnostic. The chat's like, God damn it, Oz.
Dragon Daddy steps out of the fireplace to talk to you. It'll change your mind pretty quick.
Dragon Daddy hasn't yet.
I look over at Oz real quick and I just say, it wouldn't be the first time it's happened here. Torvin, just kind of recalling back to what we saw in Kendra's room.
Yeah. Torvin, you actually see over by the fireplace, it's faint. There is an ashen, it's like a half ashen footprint, but it's not the boot of a man. It looks more akin to the step down of a very large reptile.
Could have made that. Could have drawn it with the ashes.
Eli, look, is that your man?
Yes. Who else could it be? What else could have made that?
Powerful entities like to come and go in this place, I found. I believe you.
I won't be a plaything for the goddess of death.
I think we already are.
Willingly.
I think it's time to change the rules then.
Well, how do you propose that?
See, there's something where I said they come at you sideways. Let's fucking come at them sideways.
Well, I like that. Wonder if I could spider climb?
I think it was more metaphorical than literal, Oz, but I mean, I guess it would still work either way.
They're inviting us in, but they keep coming here to poke. No, I think we go poke them.
That's what I keep saying. We need to make our way into Harrowstone, but I know some folks need a little bit of rest. Myself included, not gonna lie.
Wow. Starting to look like a little bit like Rye.
To be fair, I don't think anything's gonna kill Rye. I just saying.
I look at my arm. It's all red and blistered. You know. Rye looks down at his feet a little bit. Almost like he's ashamed to say what he's about to say. You know, we could run. This might be outside of our scope. We could maybe find help. I
think it'd be too late.
That's what I'm concerned about.
Well,
I feel out of my realm here.
I could probably get to the end of town before I'm pulled back into the prison, but I would love to run as far as I could with you.
I want to run
helpful, Tripp.
There.
I'm just saying
they're just going to keep coming at us.
True enough.
And, truth be told, I want to go there.
But why?
I want to finish this.
Are you sure you even can?
I want to take the remains of their bones and I'm going to slag them down into sand, and I'm going to make it so their existence from this world doesn't even belong anymore in nature. They can't even be used as nutrients. Nothing left. I want to come at them sideways.
Misty, give me a perception, please.
It's like I forget where everything is on the sheet. I know it's over here. Okay. Oh, wrong. Oh, that's wrong P. Sorry. 16.
I'm with Rye.
Okay.
I'm down with making our way out of this place.
Temerity, you begin to slightly come to. You can hear them speaking. You start to take like real coherence of the conversation when you hear Torvin say that we should go at them. We should come at them sideways. Slag their bones. No nutrients.
Who are we coming at? I don't know that I've opened my eyes yet, but I'll say it in a probably really hoarse, quiet voice.
I will bring over a cup of soup. Put it near her.
Right, kind of stands up, not knowing what to do. Just kind of stands. Just kind of looking at Temerity.
Tripp would probably try to go help sit her up if she's coming to.
How are you feeling?
Like I was on fire?
Yeah.
Like,
and I'll cough. Zokar felt.
I'll dart my eyes over to Eli, and I will push myself up, like refusing all offers of help, and look at him.
The room spins abruptly the moment that you kind of hoist yourself upward. The light in the room seems to almost like the room actually, it feels like it's tilting, like you're on a tilt-a-whirl, right?
Oh yeah, I've been there. I've lived that night. I'll grab onto anything I can, but I'm still trying to very weakly confront him.
Cobalt, you see Eli, you see that Temerity reaches out for some sort of steadying. Do you like try to steady her at all? Because you're basically right next to her at this point.
Yes.
Why did you say it like that?
Because it's my job to take care of Temerity, but I'm also a salty little bitch about it.
Sure, I got you.
I'm reluctant.
Well,
but
forgive me, my friend.
I feel like that's
plus her
that's
god
Eli's
just
thing,
tried to come
salty
holler
little
at
bitch.
me.
Yeah. So
when you reach out to sort of like stabilize yourself, there is a minor amount of reluctance, but do you assist? You said you're salty about it. Do you actually do it, or do you just kind of like, do you lend your shield, or what does this look like?
I'll hold a forearm out that she can brace herself on.
Sure.
Hold on, not so fast there. I mean, it was my fault that she reacted that way. So
very true.
You reach out and you grab onto the forearm. You hear him say, hold on now. And a voice internal only to you, Temerity. You've heard voices from before, from what you believed to have been your god.
Mm-hmm.
This is a voice that Eli had just heard.
A gift for one becomes a gift for none.
Eli, the vision in your right eye seems to darken, as if someone is beginning to cover it and shield it, before inevitably you lose all of the vision in your right eye. Anyone who seems to be looking over at him can see a small trace amount of smoke rise off of the runes encircling his eye, as it seems to dust away. The color of his eye shifts to gray, that of a dead person.
Welcome to the club.
Parting gift from your goddess, I think.
I would agree. Were you offered something?
Of course. And I was quick to turn it down.
I'll nod. A gift for one becomes a gift for none.
Well, I'll be needing some straps for my device, Oz.
Your device?
Yes, I forged a covering for my eye, ironically enough, before it went completely blind.
So you can't see out of it now.
Does it look different? Do I look different?
It does.
Yeah.
It's lost all pigmentation and it's become almost grayed over entirely.
It feels almost unresponsive.
It is.
Oz pulls out like some of his yarn that he uses to make pants for Pecker, and he creates like a little strap for you.
Thank you. They offered me control of it, and
well, why wouldn't you take that?
Oh Lord!
Oh, you believe me now?
I mean, I might believe you if you fixed it. Smile.
Yeah, I guess seeing my eye die in front of you isn't enough evidence.
Well, I believe that happened. I saw it. I don't believe a big dragon gave it to you, though.
No, that was your doing, I think, pulling the glass out.
Temerity,
you told me to do it!
Temerity, you heard that a big dragon, in the direction, the understanding of Pharasma. Pharasma has multiple figures that have occasionally visited the material plane. She rarely ever does it herself. In fact, typically it results in a cataclysmic event when she actually comes down from the boneyard. But she has multiple figures that attends to her needs. And when she says big dragon, there is a large serpent-like creature. It's an enormous, like colossal-sized blue linorm. Looks like a Chinese dragon from the Zodiac, and he speaks in every tongue, and he is known as the Voice.
Interesting. They don't have back legs, do they?
The Lenore,
like
some
legs?
do. Some have back legs.
Okay.
So you said dragon? What color? What color was this?
Silver, dark silver, right?
Does Eli remember?
Yeah, it had silver armor, with a sword at its side.
That tracks, right?
It was blue with hair.
That tracks.
Spiked hair coming off.
Well, you most likely won't see out of that eye ever again. That sounds like you were visited by a servant of Pharasma. And
yes, and could you kindly tell them to fuck off now and leave me alone?
While I understand, as if your god had offered me similar, I would have said the same as you. I trust you understand I can't do that. Just as I feel as if you understand that I meant Zokar no harm.
Just catching him up on that.
Keep going, guys. I'll be right back.
Yep.
Yes, we don't mean to harm anyone. We don't mean to burn the village down. We don't mean to get anybody killed. Lots of mistakes.
It wasn't a mistake. There was
use magic.
You're right, but there was a being, an animated skeleton attacking him, and we were yards away, unable to help, and he was dying. So we either did him a kindness or we would have saved him. But either way, we tried to save his life.
I'm not here to judge you for an accident. That's not my place. But what I can ask for is trust, so that when it comes down to making a life decision, that I can be confident that I'm making the right choice when I aid or assist you.
I think that's fair.
I would
you mean
like to
when you ask me to pull something out of your eye and then I do it and then you blame me for it the entire time?
Exactly.
Feel as if we might all need a reset in our trust in each other. If we're going to go where I feel like is our next step.
I do want to point out that as soon as we had a moment to speak about it, we came to you, Eli. We told you.
I would like to point out that although everyone was very vague when I was questioning them, Oz blatantly lied to me twice.
Sometimes.
What do you mean I would lying to you?
I put my hand up at Oz like give me a second here. Like, you don't have to defend you. Like, I'll defend you. Sometimes when it comes to religious types, you tend to look for justice when there is none. You're not going to find justice for Zokar. Not in examining what happened or investigating or punishing. And I know I intended to tell you when the time was right, which was as soon as we were able to. But I think it wasn't a matter of trust, like Torvin said. It was a matter of situation. And we were afraid you would, again, seek justice in situations where there will be none.
I mean, it was probably just her goddess playing a cruel trick on her. She is the goddess of death, and it seems like she's good at it.
I'm more like to believe it's the same enemies that have been making our time here as miserable as possible before I blame whatever god she's following.
Well, I will say that pointing fingers isn't going to offer solutions. All we can do is take what's happened and try to use that to benefit our future decisions and try to make sure it doesn't happen again. dwelling on it and blaming each other is just going to slow us down.
Says the guy who's blaming me for something that he told me to do. Look, I don't believe that there's any gods at play here. If there were, we wouldn't be in this pickle that we're in.
You think the gods just do the good things, do you?
Well,
I knew I should have killed you when I saw you.
Ma.
And why would you worship the other ones?
You don't... Oh my lord. The gods don't actually care what you individually think they are.
Then Torvin, tell me, why would I worship one of those people or gods or whatever you're saying if they ain't gonna do anything for me?
They exist. That's it. And they bother us just on a daily basis.
Well, how about y'all stop bothering me? Says looking up at the sky.
It won't help. I've tried.
All right, well, it was worth a try again.
I mean, you can't expect much from a goblinoid. I've never been able to carry a reasonable conversation. Well, actually, Oz is the first goblinoid I've ever spoken to that I didn't slaughter.
You know, for a moment there when you were telling us this story about your childhood, I had a feeling for you. But then you go and run your mouth like that. You talk about how
feelings for you, Oz.
You talk about how people judge you and look at you weird or think things of you, and then you do the same right back at me.
You're still alive,
now that's
aren't
something
you?
to think about.
I was willing to put aside certain stereotypes for a moment.
For a moment?
Well, you're proving yourself to be rather untrustworthy.
How so?
I wonder what other secrets you're hiding from us.
I've done nothing but try to save your butt.
I'm gonna sit back down. What did I miss while I was asleep? I'm gonna look to Rye and to Torvin like, what the fuck? Like, how long? What day is it?
You've only been out an hour.
Yeah.
I'll put my head in my hands and just like lay back down. Like, I can't no.
Tripp leans over. He's like, this is pretty much what you've been caught up on, what you woke up into.
So you're saying that you don't have any secrets you're keeping from the group then, Oz?
Everyone has their own secrets. That if you go blabbing on about your secrets, you wouldn't have any. And I'm sure you have plenty of your own.
I just told you my secret. I
Well,
just
that's
told
not
all of
really
you
a
except for
secret.
Temerity. Well, only one other person knew about it besides all of you. I don't talk about it, so I consider it a secret. Everything else about me is open for discussion.
Well, what is it that you want from me?
I just want to know that when I've got some creature biting at me, that you're not gonna turn tail and run.
He hasn't done so already.
Unlike you.
Have I run?
When did I run?
I saw you in the town hall, standing by the door, trying to use the child's body to open it, probably causing more hurt than help.
Would you have preferred Pedford stay in the town hall then?
I would prefer if Pedrin lived on a farm far away from here where no wraiths could inhabit his body and cause him to do things against his will.
You say it as though if I did it by choice. Again, you speak one way about judging others, and Oz is right. You then turn around and judge them openly.
You have no idea what true judgment it is, but I hope to bring it to you when we enter Harrowstone.
Maybe
I think
the world
y'all
will be
need
fortunate
a
enough
nap.
and you'll find yours first.
It's amazing how you don't have any friends, Eli. You make it so easy. And at that, Rye gets up and walks out of the room.
Oz kind of shrugs.
Are these your words or your god's words?
Tripp puts
These are my words. But
you should think on this, son.
I mean, you know what goblins have done. Goblins, orcs, giants. What they've done to the people of the mountain.
And
but that doesn't mean that I personally did those things to you or your family or your people.
Simultaneously, I will say, Torvin, while you're aware of what the goblinoids, the giantkin, and all the other races did to the people of the mountains, you realize the things that you as the mountain people had to do to the goblinoids, the giantkin, and those things as well. That's like, I can see, like, I can sense that, but I'm not sure. Like, I even think Cobalt sees it, but I don't think Eli can sense that. Y'all result to what you have to do.
I'm not old enough to even realize that, you know, I didn't live through it. I'm not a dwarf. I don't live that long.
Sure.
So I only hear secondhand from how bad and terrible, you know, everything was for them.
Yeah, and huge kudos for sticking to your guns with
Definitely.
Eli's convictions.
Oh, yeah.
It's hard to do, especially when you're like opposing. I know,
like
it's
right here.
It's hard when everybody's tempting you.
Yeah, no.
I 100% don't care that you're being racist towards my goblin bro.
I feel
Oz.
I feel bad.
I'm here for it.
I like Oz's character personally, but
yeah, I think it's good to take a moment to go like
angsty.
You're doing awesome, Eli.
We're all okay. 100%.
We can provide a little levity here.
It's good to check in.
Tripp wants me to open up. I'm opening up.
No, it's good. It's good.
Look at my core.
I love it that you're like, people judge me, and you're like, I'm telling the secret of how people judged me and they didn't care for me, and then 5 seconds later you're just like, I judge you all.
He's all evil goblin,
hypocritical.
dead person,
sinners.
Yeah, it's like so hypocritical. I
the
love
two
it.
people that want to like try their hardest to help him. He's like, I hate both of you in particular.
Temerity's getting off pretty easy. Though
Temerity's basically dead, like unconscious over here.
I tried to save a dude. I'm living with this guilt, and everyone's like, "Fuck you," and I'm like, "What?"
If Temerity hadn't saved a child literally in front of me, I would be more like, "Kill, turn her into the sheriff or something." But
I'll just kill the sheriff too by mistake. It's fine.
Yeah, I believe that her intentions are pure, and it was an accident and shit has been happening, so it's like, yeah, that sucks. We made another orphan, but that I turned out fine, right?
Correction, we made another adventurer.
Adventurers don't come without trash backstories. Okay.
Hello, all we did was finish his backstory. Duh.
It's like
we are all Batman.
No. You just need to make a character that has absolutely no bad backstory. It's like, no, actually, I had a pretty good childhood. I got raised up.
I have a character like that. That's my arena character. That's my character that I play in my other campaign.
Man, you guys are all so grim.
But she's like, and then people get upset because you're super naive and you're like, you don't have world experience, and then people get mad at you for your actions because they're like, oh, you should know better. And it's
naive,
like, yeah, but if
right?
you came from that and you didn't know, you wouldn't.
Yeah. All things considered, I definitely feel for Cobalt's situation as Eli, because Eli was like the snot-nosed kid doing everything that he could to survive, like crawling up literally from the gutter, got caught up in a petty crime trying to make ends meet, and these three dwarven brothers were like, yeah, we're gonna work his ass here in the forge. Now, fuck turning him in. Now, he's gonna basically be our slave laborer.
They caught me and they were like, you got to pay for that shit. And then they put me to work and they were like, okay, potential.
Yeah.
You know, he's a hard worker, you know, like, okay.
So then he caught the back end of 3 elder dwarves that are like way into their trade, that are basically just like 3
super racist, apparently.
Super like old people with old-timey like looks out on things. And they're just check out our god. Look at our way of life. You should hear about the shit that happened in the mountain. You wouldn't believe what the goblinoids did.
My god tells me to kill my enemies, find their families, and scatter them all, like, to the wind. So, and it's like, I'm supposed to kill goblins on sight, because, yeah, my God,
it's in the job description.
It's in my job description. So
yeah,
I was very understanding with Oz, but a couple of negative check marks, it's gonna flip him real quick towards, oh, maybe they were right. Maybe everything I've heard is right about them. You know, I try to give this goblinoid a chance, and he just keeps lying to me. And
when did Oz
teaming up
lie
with this
to you?
evil Rye person who I know
when
is
did
evil.
Oz lie to you?
Never.
Usually,
Lied to me to my face about what happened to Zokar, and because Rye was like behind you, and you're like, yeah, that didn't.
Because
totally
Rye,
happen.
every single time I have lied, what?
I gave him the
because someone else shut me up.
Oz has got an honor code, all right?
I gave Rye the opportunity to be like, that was me, Eli.
Oz's only problem is that
Rye,
Oz
you're
is too
being
much
a
of a
bad
homie.
influence on me.
Oz is too much of a homie. That's the only weakness that Oz has so far.
Yeah.
Rye, you said you stepped away.
I started to, and then he started talking shit about Oz.
Yeah.
I stop in the doorway on that shit when he's
I
like.
was gonna say the same thing. Like Tripp was gonna pretty much just give like the cloth to Temerity, and then he was just gonna like peace. He's like, yeah, fuck this guy.
Okay, all right.
It was kind of like that, yeah. Like we were trying to come in and talk to him, and then he was, you know, still
going
really
into
defensive.
Harrowstone with or without you, bitches. Let's go.
Yeah, and they're gonna be
going there
leaving
with my
with or
torch.
without you too.
My 3 hot siphons like a Ghostbuster. You watch out.
Oh my God. Oh,
that's okay, but we're keeping grapple.
No. We've been through so much. It's like I love her.
There's still so much conversation that can be had, and I'm here for it.
Yeah,
if you guys
100%.
want to keep talking, then by all means. But if there's anything else that you wanted to see done in this session, we've got a little bit of time left, and I know that we have to stop pretty much on time tonight.
I feel
literally
like
just went
we
blind
should
in
let
my
this
eye.
go.
You guys can give me some freaking leeway here, okay?
Dude,
Like-
totally giving you leeway. Oz was being caring. He's just telling you that, you know,
Laid my hands on
You're
you,
kinda
Oz,
being mean.
okay?
he thinks you're grumpy. He's like, I
Well,
think you need a bit
I'm
of a
blind
nap,
in an
Eli.
eye.
I feel
I
like
think you
everyone needs a Snickers. Like I woke up
Yeah.
and like I just want to start
They're
passing them
hangry.
out. Everyone's
Oz
angry.
is gonna push a bowl of soup on you into your hand.
I'll take it. Because I'm going to say that. Everyone's just fucking
Yeah, I already put a bowl of soup to you, but I think he's gonna say, you know, I think you need a nap. Maybe a hearty meal, and he hands it over to Eli. The soup.
Oh, yeah, I got some on the table. But...
Right.
hangry.
Right,
chicken
you're
nudes.
standing in the door, and you hear someone approaching from the rear side. When you glance back, it is none other than Jaminda. She comes through with a few loaves of bread and a few large helpings of soup, just in case anybody needed extra. Her hands are a little full. I'm not sure if you intend to take any away from her.
Oz will run over and help.
Okay.
Because he
Sure.
was helping her cook.
Yeah. Jaminda is trying to be as hospitable as possible. She's not really caring for whatever supplies or provisions she goes through. It's not her house. It also is one of those dire times of need. It looks like you guys need well fed. You need sleep. You need clean clothes. You need, pretty much everything. You need a vacation. So she steps through and she starts extending it out, trying to mind her own business.
If things quieted down, I'll rummage through my bag for my 3 rings of metal, which I had made a thing to slide out,
Yes.
so I could still see out of it, but that's not needed anymore. So, but yeah, and I'll attach the straps that Oz made for me, and I'll just put it over my busted ass eye.
Yeah, I even
Cover
made
up the
you some
symbols.
straps for your eye patch.
I would cut
So
those in half.
rude.
Yeah, just cut those in half and be like, here,
Just
you
snip
take
it.
Yeah.
Cut it.
But make sure it's with magic, because I'm pretty sure that will go well.
and grease them so you can't use them.
Burn his face like a fireball to the face.
Wow, no heals for you guys.
Just messing.
Rye, perception, please.
Sure. This is my best skill.
Well,
Incoming 4.
you're always good at rolling.
Okay, that's actually not bad. Right. After she seems to start passing some things out, you hear a knocking at the door. Very odd pattern of knocking. It's not, not like normal. There's a few breaks in it.
I open the door.
You'll have to move to the front of the house at this point. And as like you kind of
Oh, you mean like, okay, not to the door. Okay, so I'm in the, gotcha. You're saying the front door.
Correct.
I look back at everybody and I just go walk towards the door.
Sure. Jaminda sort of turns and she starts walking just behind you. When you exit the hallway and you look to the main foyer that leads straight to the front door, there is the three council folk here, 2 men and a woman. They are like half leaning out of that study where you had been resting, and they're just kind of looking at the door. The door is closed, but they're sufficiently spooked at this point. It's late. Everybody was told to go home. Anybody of import to the story at this point is here, so they have no idea. The sheriff is also standing in the doorway of the kitchen at this point. He seems to like be chewing on what looks to be bread. But they wait. They wait to it. Jaminda's actually backed up to you at this point. And do you proceed to the door or do you let her by? What does this look like?
I just head to the door.
Sure.
I'm kind of a little fed up, so I don't even really think about it. I just kind of go and I just kind of swing the door open, like, yeah, what? like what now? You
sure. know? When you open the door, there is a figure in front of you, a figure that appears to have been at one point mostly man. It now looks skeletal, but the skin is darkened, like pitch like tar. It's leathery and it's drawn up very, very close to its body. However, it sticks out very, very keenly that there are 2 gold bands, one around each wrist, and there's another larger band around the neck. This figure is very, very clearly dead. You recognize this. This is a creature from Nidal, from the Evers, a forever servant of Nidal. They're clutching in their hand an envelope.
I grab the envelope and Spartan kick that motherfucker right off the fucking stairs.
The moment that you pull the letter from them, before your foot even connects with their body, they immediately start to disintegrate. Like you can actually see their bodies start to shift and twist down.
Oh, and as soon as I see that, I'm like, motherfuckers. Because he knows that it was just used just as a delivery service, basically. Yep. Like, okay, well, great, you know.
Do you begin to open the envelope?
Yeah, I do. But I look at to see if there's a seal on it.
There is.
Is it a seal that I would recognize?
It is a skull with chains from its eyes.
So, Zolkathon.
Yes.
Okay.
There is a J that seems to be writ in dark red next to the seal.
Fucking Umbreeze. Take a deep breath and look at the letter.
Something, as you start to look at the letter, you actually hear something rolling across the wood.
I look down.
The rings that were around the wrist and neck of the figure are rolling past you, as if someone had rolled them willingly. And as they roll down the hallway, they sort of wobble before realigning straight and rapidly hitting the body of Jaminda. They strike her body and clasp around her wrists and around her neck.
Oz will immediately go to her because he knows exactly what's happening. Like, he knows context.
Oz is in the rear room. Oz actually didn't even get a chance to hear it just because it had been an echo into the doorway.
I was helping her with the cups that were on the tray.
Oh, so then you'll be walking back through. Sure. At this point, then you would in fact be walking back through with the tray of cups. Rye is turned. He's standing in the doorway, and he seems to be clutching an envelope. Black dust seems to be falling behind him. May have had a shape, but it's just too much to see. It's like the Thanos
don't think
snap.
I noticed Rye, but I think he immediately notices Jaminda because she probably looks. Does she look freaked out?
Yes.
Okay, because Oz has secrets with a lot of people. The problem is people keep doing blood pacts with him or some shit. He'll immediately go to her.
There is a clatter. Everyone in the house can hear this. There is a clatter. The bowls actually fall to the floor. They shatter. Bits of ceramic in various places. These clay molds it's destroyed. Unless you have the spell mending, of which I wouldn't cast in this town whatsoever. You will not be returning them back to their original shape. They're done. I
do have mending. I actually do.
Do you want to risk it?
Not in this current moment. He's immediately going to her, but probably later he's down. He will mend those cups.
From all of the things that you've seen, right? And you guys have seen some shit at this point. You've seen flying flaming heads. You've seen the undead. Jaminda is suffering a living nightmare. Her eyes have never been larger. Her mouth never more agape.
Oz will run over and he's like trying to hold on her. He's like, what happened? Are you alright?
Would Rye immediately assume that she has some sort of secrets then? Like she's tied up in some shit that she's not supposed to be tied up in? Because like, what, as somebody who's come from Nadal, do I recognize what's happening right now?
Well, Rye, you were informed by Zokar that Jaminda delivered Peverin.
Oh, that's right. That's right. I just look up and I look at Jaminda and I say, I'm not the only one who has dealings in Nadal. Does she look like she's in pain?
No, she looks as if something stopped her in the moment. She's not breathing. She's just sort of stuck.
So she's just like almost in time, like she's like frozen.
No, not really. She's like it's that moment of shock, right? She's stuck under like a very widely apparent shock.
Yeah, when you say that and you're like, "Are you walking towards us?"
Yeah.
Oz will look to you and he's just like, "What happened?"
With the bowls.
Okay. Everybody rushes out. I'm assuming maybe Temerity. Do you come out whatsoever?
Crawls out.
I was gonna say I don't know that I could. I mean, I would probably like meander, but I don't know that I could rush, right? Like
sure.
That's probably out of the question.
As everyone exits the room, the scene is very visible at this point.
So that Temerity can like lean on me.
Sure.
To get out.
Sure.
I will assist.
She's too shocked at this point to open the letter. You realize that next to the seal there is a in calligraphy and stylized J. It's coincidence maybe for Jaminda. What do you do, Rye?
I walk over very slowly to her, and she's still in that sort of shocked phase.
Yes.
Okay. I kind of like really like give her like a look, like I'm looking at her for the first time. I've kind of just ignored this lady.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I do recall what Zokar said, and I'm just kind of giving her a look, and I take the letter and I offer it to her.
She extends her hand almost out of like the commonality of it, like how regular this would be the exchange, but she doesn't seem to reach out to it. It's natural, like the reflex, right? Oz, you know her secret.
Yeah.
You are right next to her, and you can see the shock on her. Do you?
Where did the letter come from?
Ill tidings. One of the Umbree's messengers delivered it and then promptly disintegrated, except for the bands, which found their way over to this lady. Rye doesn't even really know her name.
Sure.
And also had a note, and I'm assuming you may know something about this, Oz.
Oz makes a face like he doesn't. Like he tries to act like he doesn't. And then he looks at Jaminda and he's like, he just like looks at her like questioningly.
I just always assume Oz knows something about everything.
The problem is, she told him that he would like, his tongue would come out of his mouth and he'd like start
lose his
bleeding
teeth.
to death or something.
Yeah.
He'd lose his teeth. I don't know. She told him something freaky, so he's just not saying anything, but you probably, I don't know, you might get it from, he's definitely not telling you the truth.
I feel like
he's not saying, he doesn't know anything.
I feel like I would understand that when it comes to Nadal and rules and discretion, that there are certain things that like are magically kept, right? Like, have you ever seen like Howl's Moving Castle?
Yes.
She can't, like, she's cursed, so she can't say that she's, you know.
I improvised.
I know that happens.
I improvised that curse specifically for this.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
okay.
That was the point of origin.
Yeah, like Oz goes to like open his mouth and then he realizes, and then he doesn't say anything, and then it's like he immediately looks at Jaminda for like reassurance or for her to speak on her own on behalf.
She simply mutters, "Open it."
And then Oz peers back because he wants to see what's in the line because he's nosy.
I kind of give Oz a look, like a knowing look. Take a deep breath. And I just kind of resign myself to opening the letter. Like, whatever, man. I'm like fucking burnt. Like, what else? You know, like I just open it up. I open it.
Inside of the envelope, this stamped letter reads this message. Your time outside Nadal comes to a close. You are expected to return home by the year's end, or you will be assigned to the Evers.
Well, what's it say?
I read it silently. I look up at Jaminda and look back down at the letter. Back up. Your master's come to call. And then I read it.
At Jaminda, like when you say that, he looks at her like he knows something, and he is concerned.
And I just pick it up and read it to Jaminda. Your time outside. Okay, I assume.
Yeah. Her eyes begin to well with each passing word before there is one blink and just the stream floods down her face.
Oz will hug her. Like, embrace her.
As you start to do that, like embrace, you know, Jaminda, I will be like, you might not want to get too close to this one.
Temerity, Eli, you heard the message.
It's a little too late for me, Oz says.
You've heard the message inside from the letter. You see the shock on Jaminda's face, the inevitable terror that seems to swallow her.
What would Nadal want with her?
Same thing Nadal wants with everyone. Servitude. But why? Why does she owe it to them? What was she doing here? And I know.
Say anything.
And I just say like what I know, that Zokar told me that she was the one that delivered Peverin to him.
Look over at Peverin.
Tripp shakes his head. He doesn't know what he would, in terms of the context of how it's being brought up. I'm sorry, but there's nothing I know. I've only been here recently.
Brought him? So is he not Zokar's child? What do you mean she brought him? Right?
It's hard to tell. His past and his connection to Nadal is as confusing as anyone else's. Who knows what magics kept him from his family or reunited him to his family.
She finally she breaks her silence.
Okay.
Nadal wants their property.
I look over at Peverin. And I look back at Jamenda. Property.
The 13th daughter of the High Priestess fled Nidal over a decade ago. I was tasked to follow her, care for her, and eventually return her and her offspring back to Nidal. But I had cut ties. I was happy outside of Nidal. She looks at you with the eyes welled up entirely, still crying. You can understand why. I would be happy anywhere else. I was a handmaiden of the first 13. I am property of the Umbries. And I cared for Pevrin when he was ill, for his mother, for his father that was not his father. Zokar didn't know what he was getting himself into. And now, I have to return by the year's end with Pevrin, or I will join the ranks of the Evers.
Man, god damn it. It's like a ship that just keeps springing leaks. You plug one up.
I also just keep comforting her. And then he kind of whispers, he like leans in when everything gets a little more quiet. He's like, now that you told them all, is that still gonna happen to me?
I'll sever the pact so that you can speak of it.
What made you think you could escape Nidal?
I was to return within 3 years' time. I've been gone over a decade.
Damn.
I don't know how they found me. But they know that where I am. They know that where I am. The 13th daughter. And likely offspring are there.
How did you do it the first time?
How did I do what?
Why did they let you leave?
What
was your job here?
To be the midwife. To deliver a healthy baby.
And then return it.
Yes.
They can find her, then why are they coming to collect her now and not after the 3 years were up?
They don't want her. Not that it would matter.
Why didn't they take the child themselves?
I directly serve the Umbral Throne.
Then that makes you my enemy.
I was a loyal servant. My job was to care for the children that they were bringing into this world.
You mean traffic the children into their hands?
Not all of us are raised just outside of the Rim. Not all of us get to freely escape.
But all of us do make choices.
I made a choice. I cared for him when nobody else cared outside of his father. I protected him when the spirits tormented him. I helped his mother form the protection on that room before someone removed it. I made my choices. I have to live with what I've done. I didn't have to care for any of you or any of the people in this town.
Oz will comfort her and be like, it's all right. We appreciate it. And everyone appreciates it too, don't you?
How many times have you done this before? How long have you been a handmaiden?
She's in her late 30s. Peverin's mom would be in her late 30s. I was raised amidst the 13. I served directly 2 women, the 7th and the 13th. It was believed that none of them could bear child. There is a purity involved for the rituals that they were deemed to complete. We still do not know who his father is.
Oh, man. Just out of curiosity, who are the 13 daughters are the daughters of who, specifically?
The High Priestess of the Umbries.
Okay.
It's their fanatical, basically their fanatical leader.
Yeah.
That's not part of like the upper echelon royalty.
Yes, correct. Yeah. I take the dagger out that Xander had given me, and I walk up to her, and I put the knife in her throat. And I say,
Oz will get in between, actually.
You're gonna get in between?
Yeah.
What's going on?
Before, like, when you go to bring the knife up, you end up putting the knife, like, to Oz.
Gonna
Oz
be
is
eating
like,
my soup, water.
Oz is like, it's not her fault. Just like it wasn't yours.
It's not always the case, Oz. Especially when it comes to the royalty and the fanatics, the zealots. They all make choices. They choose to serve.
And she made her choice. They hid here. The 3 of them.
She made a choice based on fear. Fear of her previous choice, the contextual choice that led her here. What evils has she done?
Sometimes fear can drive us to do the right thing.
In the eyes of Nidal, the only evil I have done is ignore my loyalties to Nidal.
And what will you do now? Now that these clasps are back on your wrists and around your neck, who do you serve now?
These clasps only go on the Evers. If I do not return by the year's end time, the life will be choked from me by these collars. My blood will stop to my hands. I will be able to cast no rituals. Not that I was ever taught enough to prevent this from happening. And my body will walk from this place. And Nidal will send a provisionary force. They will decimate this town. And take all of the dead back to serve as the Evers forever. That's why they're called that. Because their soldiers never tire. They go on. Forever.
Well, there's gotta be a way to stop it. Right? Oz says, looking, like, standing in between the 2 of them and looking at both of them.
I look at the dagger. Yeah, I was aiming to do that. She's as good as dead.
You can end my suffering now. But the moment that my heart stops beating is when the provisionary force comes. And you know how fast they can move. And you know how often they have to sleep. It's not a newsflash. They don't. They don't have to eat. They don't have to sleep. They don't have to drink. They don't have to piss or shit. They are ever moving. That is their purpose. I can buy 6th month by living. By dying, they will cross any span. No mountain high, no ocean depth will stop them.
Well, anything that doesn't eat, I don't think I want it to be around here.
How do we get those rings off then?
You hear Tripp clear his throat when you say that.
by returning with the 13th's firstborn.
Well, you know we're not going to let you do that.
There's no way to break them.
I'm hoping that you wouldn't. I'm hoping that I can be of assistance in such a way that you will aid me in the removal of this. Or if we fail, by the year's end time, that you kill me before it chokes the life from my body.
What do you have to offer? What help can you provide?
I'm far more than a midwife. I was trained heavily in poison. Many, many poisons. I'm a sufficient tracker. I'm capable of finding anyone, regardless the distance.
Well, we're looking for somebody.
I don't know how I'm of use. But I know that here, if I remain here, I will inevitably die, and that the rest of the people that have come to know and love in this town will suffer an infinitely worse fate than whomever is trying to break free from Harrowstone.
She's already been helpful to us.
And those of Harrowstone,
She's the one who helped me with the potions,
will join the ranks of the Umbree's army.
I look over at Pevrin. And Ryan just thinks to himself, like, there's a duality there, right? Part of it is he feels himself being drawn back into Nadal, and he was able to escape, you know, and he doesn't like that. And he also understands that Pevrin is sort of a liability, a huge liability, because he seems to be important to Nadal in some way. But he's also got the duality of, like, he sees his fellow orphans in Pevrin as well, and how Pevrin is tied to Nadal, and how inescapable that is for him as well. So Rye's got feels. His little fifis are all over the place right now.
Sure.
Oz looks at Jemima and says, well, I don't know about the rest of them, but just so you know where I stand, I'll help you. And I'll take
I didn't understand the ring things. Can they listen to us? Do you have to report back? I don't understand.
Are they going to jump onto Rye because he's from Nadal?
They're
gonna kill her.
Were you important?
I give Eli a very dirty look when he says that.
She looks to you, right? Were you important to the Umbrees?
Uh-oh. Everybody's dropping everybody's secrets.
Man, it's so hard to answer. It's so hard to answer that.
You don't have to share your secrets. By being silent, you've said more than enough. Nadal takes what it is owned. It claims its own. You can run, but you'll have to forever.
Well, unless you all know of a way to get these rings off, I'm pretty stumped. If they were just the ones on her arms, we could remove her arms, but the one around her neck is a little more problematic.
There are things that I cannot say here, especially in the presence of a servant of Nadal.
It's fine. I can leave. I understand.
There may be a way to help you. I cut her off. Though I'd have to trust that no one would be listening if I were to tell you how. And he looks at Jamenda, like, just stares her down, like eyes, you know, just locked. Where do your loyalties lie?
She breaks her vision with you, and she looks down to Peverin. With him.
There may be a way. There may be a way. But right now, that isn't the most important thing. I look to the rest of the party. We have to get out of here. But we have to help these people first.
Oz got excited, and then he
took the wind from his sails.
Yeah.
I look at Oz, and Oz gets exasperated, and I just say, you have the capacity to love others. I've never met a goblin before. I've never met a hobgoblin or any of your race, really. I've heard the rumors from the dwarves that I traveled with. How unsettling your race is. But I didn't judge you. And I've grown quite fond of you. You want to help people. I do too, if it's the right person. You can't want to leave and also want to save Jamenda at the same time. You're going to have to make a choice too.
Oz kind of kicks his foot and looks down his bucket. And like looks back up and says, well, I want to help people, but I also don't want to die.
Here's the thing about Nadal. Every one of us in this room, every one of us in this whole town, we're marked. You're marked. And you can run today or tomorrow. You can run for years. You can be Jamenda. You can run for 10 years. But Nadal collects. They're going to come. It just depends on what kind of existence you want to live from here on out. Do you want to be under the thumb of Nadal? Or live free with the threat of destruction?
Tripp, this whole time you understand that.
Oh, sorry.
That they've been discussing Peverin, the body that you've been hosting. This whole time you've had this nagging feeling. Something has been like dragging down, literally like feels like it's been dragging down at your arm. And you, as a wraith, see this where nobody else has taken sight of this yet. A familiar face stands next to the body of Peverin. An incorporeal figure leaking back onto the material plane. It's asking for control of the body.
Does it look menacing? Does it like give off the same? Okay, then he'll give a nod and he'll shoot himself out.
You feel that the hand seemed to almost like reach over the top of yours, like another child's hand, or another hand like grabbing yours, and it seems to sidle you out. And you guys can visibly see like Tripp's body sort of shake, like a puppet. You know, strings kind of dragging the arms before he gathers himself, and he has like this. It's almost lilt, this hunch in his step.
Oz like pulls his crossbow out, thinking something bad's gonna happen.
Kind of feels up over the body, touches the arms, and then he looks over to Uri, and he takes a few steps, reaches up to the top of his head, like there's something there, and he pulls it down, clutches at his chest, almost like it's a hat. You don't hear Peverin, you don't hear Tripp.
Please, Mr. Rye. Don't let them take my boy.
Miss Temerity. He's all I ever had. Mr. Torvin, before I go, I'll tell you the secret of my wolf balls. Mr. Eli, please. I never had anything I cared about more. I was a married man, but being a father, that's something else. Mr. House, please. Don't let them people take my boy.
You can see like Peverin's starting to like almost well up himself and kind of like wipes the eyes.
Rest
Torvin
easy,
steps
Zokar.
forward and shakes his hand.
Nobody's going to take him while I draw breath.
Thank you. Is there anything that I can do for you while I'm here, before I go back?
How far away? I'm in the same room, right? Because Eli brought me.
Yes.
Kind of, yeah. I'm just going to say very quietly, I'm very sorry.
Nah, he's fine. He's bound to go some way. This place does that. It takes you, whether you want it or not. You just have to go. I'm not mad. I'm scared, but not for me.
He touches the chest.
For him. No boys should have to go with what he's going to go through.
He won't have to go.
Thank you.
I owe you at least that much.
I don't care if you subject him to whatever school. You send him to Pharasma or to Torag or wherever. He's a good boy. He's a bright boy. He can read and write, and he's fast as a wind. He's all the things I'm not, and everything his mother couldn't be. He deserves his own world, not to be controlled by another. It's already enough that these blessed spirits climb in him.
Fuck you, Bub. God damn.
I know, right?
God damn it, man. Rai looks up and says, I, too, have a child. It's what brought me here. I think she's still out there. That's why I wanted the money. I needed the money so I could finish my merchant's apprenticeship to travel and look for her. I had to give her up to a traveling merchant when I was in Nadal. And when I left, I've dedicated my time to finding her. I haven't seen her in almost 30 years. Taking on your boy may prevent me from finding my daughter. But they are, however, victims of the same enemy. Rai looks over at Peverin. We'll find a way. I'll find a way.
one last give in before I go. If it's what you need, it's no use to me when I'm dead. I'll be no use to him. Go for my room. You'll have to dig. I seen it walking around. It's all but a mess. Pevrin knows. He's seen to it. There's a chest I put in the ground. It's covered by stone. What you'll find there was useful for when I needed it, but wasn't as useful as it could have been because, well, I never could read or write. And I never did file the papers. But I earned them the right and fair and square way. But if it helps you and your lot, then take them. They're worth a small fortune. At least they were to me.
Thank you for everything, Zokar. We'll take care of your boy.
You should be going. Go ahead.
If you see that Hawkins fella, tell him we're looking for him.
I don't know I'll be seeing too many others. I feel like my business is finished. And I can trust your word. If one of you were to say it, I'd be a little scared, but all of you, you've all said it, and you hold each other, what'd my wife say? Accountable. To find it, it's no more than the size of a ruck bag. What was buried under the bed. Move a few stones, and there's, well, you'll see, you'll know what it is. Right, I'll mean more to you then.
Rye nods. Is there anything else?
No, I don't think so. Hickory chips? That's a secret to wolf balls. Hickory chips. We make a tomato jam, mixing with sugar and hickory chips.
A jam? Ooh.
Anything you want us to tell Pevrin?
Opens a notebook and he's jotting down the recipe.
Nothing you ain't heard before. Tell him to keep reading, because the secret to living is learning every day. The day you stop learning is the day you start dying. That's all.
We'll make sure he hears it. Good luck. I reach out my hand to shake Pevrin's hand.
He extends it, and you feel like this firm, almost like it's a slap, right? It's something that you would get out of an older gentleman. He slaps your hand, way stronger than what you would expect out of Pevrin. Clasps tightly and gives you like two firm shakes before Pevrin's body seems to fall and like lilt downward. Tripp, you sense that vacancy and you pull back in again. You awaken to see that you're shaking the hand of Rye. You overheard the entire conversation.
He like you can even feel like the same thing, the grip kind of even changes as well. He pulls away.
I check for my dagger. I just give it a glance.
It's there. It's definitely there.
Nothing taken this time.
The sheriff leaves from all of this. You don't have to make a believer out of him. He understands completely what is going on. He is totally afraid of absolutely everything that has occurred, and no longer can he shake this as just superstition. He exits the building.
For what it's worth.
Out there, Sheriff. I say as he leaves.
Yep.
As he lets go of Rye's hand, he looks for what it's worth for all of you. I do want to try to see this to the end as much as possible, to provide as much help as I can, while keeping the small one here out of harm's way. So I think the best I can do is probably getting you to Harrowstone, or at least part way inside before we part ways.
How long? Until we get deep inside, how long?
It's hard to say. Even being pushed to and from Ravensgrove to Harrowstone, it's hard to discern. Even when traversing the prison itself, I know my body's been confined to a certain level of Harrowstone. This is the first time I've even gotten this far, but hopefully something comes back by the time we get there. It's still fragmented. Just the moments up until I remember everything from now, and that's about it, but nothing before then.
Still need to rest. We can't go in the condition we are right now.
I know.
Every time we stop to rest, it seems like we're thrust into another issue.
Aye, also I know. That's why I think we have to run straight at them and sleep when we can. Because they're already expecting us to sit here and heal, and then they'll come again, sideways. We need to rest, but we need to move.
But we can grab what Zokar left behind and then equip ourselves and try to go in there and put an end to this, I guess.
Before that, though, and Rye looks over at the two spellcasters in the group. Do either of you have a way to send messages in secret? Magically.
Like with message.
I don't have a way to like send a message, but I could write something and then make it not look like a letter.
Do the opposite of that. Okay.
I look at Temerity.
Shake my head.
I need to send word before we do anything. I don't trust myself. I don't trust a physical letter. I'll find a way. He looks back up, almost like he was in thought about something. And he looks at Torvin. So how do we rest and attack?
I think the first thing we have to do is get ourselves quickly to a point that we can move. Now, we need to be a few hours out of tune. We need to not be here. If they are looking for us, we can do the best for this town alone by doing that. And they'll expect to attack a town, not a small location or a grove or something. We will need to rest, but not here.
The sheriff comes trotting back in. He seems to be carrying something with him. It looks like some sort of like dirt, debris is like falling off of his hands. And he's carrying what looks to be like a tremendously small footlocker. A chest. And he hands it directly over to you, Rye. It's from one older man to another. This is from under his bed.
He already had it?
No, that's where he went.
We went out and
he went. Oh, gotcha. Okay, gotcha. Okay. I take it from him and I set it on the table. And I look at my companions.
Oz goes over to the box and he's like, well, can we open it?
I reach over the hearthstone and grab a small hatchet.
Rye opens it.
When you open it, there are a series of documents inside. Most of it seems to be folded up, but it seems to be rather important. Most of them are sealed with Golarion notary.
Okay. Are there any symbols on these documents that I would recognize?
Nothing exterior, but perhaps if you open them further.
Okay. I pick up whatever's on top.
Sure.
And investigate.
It's a stack of papers. You kind of lift them up, and they're like bifolded over. And when you lift them up, something falls out. It's what looks to be a coin. It falls to the desk. It's a marker. It's a Golarion mercantile marker. And when you finish opening these, it is merchant's documents, unnamed, unmarked. It's full licensing to travel Golarion as a mercantile and swordsmith company. This would cost a business a fortune.
What I think they are?
Can I appraise them?
Blank papers?
They are. You can appraise them, yeah, for certain.
21.
This would probably cost a thriving business, especially recognized by like Golarion notary, upwards of 1,000 gold. It's not
That's
cheap.
worth 1,000 gold. I don't think I've ever even touched anything worth that much.
Right, kind of under his breath says, "It's worth more than that to someone who's lost a daughter." As he's looking through the documents, do I see anything at all about the Whispering Way?
No. This all appears to be legitimate, like Golarion merchants' documents. As long as you have cargo and company at this point, and you pay whatever dividends it comes to whenever you travel to like a new named zone of Golarion, you have freedom to roam. However, you know what it means to travel unprotected as well. Brigands, highwaymen, that sort of thing. You might fall under the purvey of control. You shouldn't have a whole lot of trouble, but someone like Zokar, who is not within the means of protection, he would suffer from this. Also, as I said, he wasn't much for reading and writing, so he didn't fill out his own paperwork.
He must have heard you, and that's why he mentioned this to you. To find your daughter, maybe, because we're supposed to protect his son. Or maybe we're meant to trade this for provisions. I don't know.
More likely, clever disguise. Might be able to fit right into that if we ever do get out of here.
Right, Torvin, both of you are aware, I think even Temerity would know this, that these documents have to be presented to any like traveling merchant, especially those that hire aid from a guild, essentially. It's fairly useful documents, incredibly expensive, and you're right, to the right person, this would be worth infinitely more than 1,000 gold.
Yeah.
The coin? The coin is numbered. These are only given to official merchants of Golarion.
How did he say that he got these documents, or did he?
He didn't.
Mm.
Do you think that Zokar always wanted to be a cook in a small, dying town?
I don't know. He seemed pretty content with his lot in life.
Wait, hold on. Who got
his hot lady?
Who got his journal? His wife's journal?
He let me look at it for a moment, but I think he wouldn't like.
I read it, or some of it at least.
He wouldn't give that up because Rye lost the roll for it.
It was written in there that she met a man who was traveling on the road, stopping in the town. He was a simple man, not very smart, but he had a good heart.
Took her away. Didn't hurt that he had a nice smile, and he said, "I have a good arse."
Mm-hmm.
And her crown was in there, which he does have.
You do have that, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah, the diadem or whatever the hell it's always.
I think With that, though, with you collecting these paperwork and where we are right now on time, I think this is where we end tonight's session. It's on somewhat of a high note, an emotional high note at that. And that feels good because we don't get a lot of those in these episodes. Sometimes it is very doom and gloom and a lot of recovery. I'm going to assume, to follow up with Torvin here, that you guys made your way to a safer part or a zone in or outside of town, right?
Okay.
So you're gonna go rest. I'm assuming that you take blankets, you know, the necessities for you to camp out.
Can Jaminda join us? Because she said she's a good scout and stuff, and she said she's going to help us.
Sure, Jaminda can stay. Kendra is still out, so the council folk will stay here. The sheriff will also stay here.
Okay. Bring them goody potions, Jaminda.
I'm just very happy that we ended the session without bleeding.
Yes.
It's
good stuff.
Right?
Can someone heal me?
Again, my goodness.
I did heal you.
Yeah,
I didn't technically roll a dice for it, but I said I wanted to. I had 3 lay of hands, and I wanted to use 1 on you and 2 on Kendra.
You got it. I mean, if you've got any left and people need the healing, go ahead and do it now because you will get your rest
anyway,
yep,
right?
Correct.
So we'll get our spells back.
Yes.
Oz will heal back up anyway.
Yes. So, you get those heals. Go ahead and roll the dice for him.
I get all my spells back. Yay.
Three health for you, buddy.
Yay.
Every bit helps, and we will definitely get a long rest. That's for sure.
Should I roll for Tenra too, or is that
puts me at 12? 12
However,
HP.
whoever needs it, right? I know that I think Rye needs it. I think Misty needs it for sure.
I'm about half health right now because he had already killed me once.
Yes.
I don't think I ever registered what our damage was, so.
All right, well, 6 to the lowest, whoever's the lowest.
That's okay. You guys will additionally heal your Constitution score when you take a long rest. Admittedly, so long as you, I trust that you guys are gonna set up and scout. You're not just gonna go out and lay a bunch of shit on the ground and lay down. So, assisting that much, you guys will do just fine. But let's go ahead and get our shout outs here. It looks like all the cameras are messed up again. So while I'm fixing this, Eli, Cobalt, tell us about you, buddy. What are you doing? Where can we find you? What's going on with you these days, man?
Oh, I am CobaltStreak. I play lots of indie, roguelike, action, adventure, strategy games. I just picked up Inscription, which is probably one of my favorite games I've played in a while. It's taking me for a ride right now, and I'm enjoying it. So I'm probably gonna finish that up tomorrow. If I don't know how long it is, but I assume I can do that. And then I'm doing Isaac streaking and unlock files as well, and I stream every day at 5 p.m. Central. I play D&D Thursdays on Roll4 at noon, and you can find me here on Tuesdays at 8 Central as well. Thanks for having me.
Sick. Thanks, man. Thank you. And next, we have Miss Misty. Imperial, tell us about you. What are you doing? Where can we find you these days?
I twitch.tv/Imperial. I've been sewing my ass off pretty much and getting ready for Fan Expo Denver, which is Halloween weekend, and then getting ready for another half marathon in 2 weeks, because again, I don't know why I do this to myself, but yeah, there's lots of incentives to make me do stupid exercise shit on stream, so that's fun. Yeah, that's about it. Playing a lot of New World because I'm a joiner apparently.
Perfect. Torvin, my man Wyld, tell us about you. What are you doing? Where can we find you?
G'day. Yeah, I'm Wyld on the Twitters and on the Twitch. At the moment, I mean, 8 years behind me, coming up on the 23rd, actually. We're celebrating on this amazingly crazy platform. So mostly Minecraft. That was always the thing, but now I'm a New World streamer. But I'm hoping that Path of Exile can save me, but I don't know if he'll be able to. We'll see. The battle will happen.
Urge League.
Damn it. Maggie, what are you doing? Where can we find you these days? How's everything going with you?
I'm MargaretKrohn. You can find me at MargaretKrohn in all of the places. I do a lot of things on the internet. If you want to see those things, give it a good follow. I am playing a few tabletop RPGs. You can come check those out just by following me. I'll let you know whenever I'm live. I'm here Tuesdays. I'll be on a new channel on Thursdays coming up. And I'm over on Roll4, or before on Thursdays in the morning at 10 a.m. Pacific. So, you know, got some free time. So if you have any other things that you're looking for someone for a project for, hit me up. You know where to find me. And then, of course, I make video games for a living. I'm currently working on a project called Ashes of Creation, and you can find it at Ashes of Creation in all places. That's where you can find me.
Perfect. Wonderful. Rye, Ellohime, tell us about your boss. What are you doing? Where can we find you when you're not blurry?
Oh, am I blurry right now?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, it happens every now and then. Hey, everybody.
It's a feature.
I am not actually a streamer. I am a static creature.
You're a Bigfoot.
Yeah. Okay. Come on. Really?
Ello,
Anyways,
you gotta put your tongue out. Remember?
oh my God! As soon as I
Perfect.
So funny. I stream early mornings, 4 a.m. Eastern. So if you're an Insomniac, please feel free to come check out my channel. I stream variety, though lately I've been stuck super deep in New World. I don't know how long that's gonna last, but the next streaming game that I'm gonna do is probably gonna be Inscription. So yeah, and that will likely be tomorrow early morning, 4 a.m. Like I said, if you want to check it out, by all means, click the link and you can see all the social media stuff from there if you want to participate further. Thank you guys for coming out and watching, and it was a lot of fun. I always enjoy this group, especially Bub, because he fucks me over with my character like so bad, man.
No, man.
in like
the
best way. In the best way, like
you my eye.
You have a really good way of having a certain duality to the character. Like you understand our characters and you know what you're doing, and that's good. But it's also, yeah.
Well, thanks, man. I appreciate that. I think. Yeah, I think
it's a big compliment. It's a big compliment. It's just again that duality.
Thank you so much, Xander Boss. Tell us about you. What are you doing? Where can we find you?
What do I do? I'm supposed to be streaming, but being inconsistent and working retail strains my mental and spirit by the time I get home. So, you know, I'm here on Tuesdays, Wednesdays if my spirit's not completely broken. But hopefully tomorrow I'll be playing Final Fantasy. I already finished the story and it's amazing. So now I'm just doing dailies and chilling and getting gear and trying to make myself look all hot and stuff. So, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Perfect. Thanks, bud. That kind of leaves me. You guys already know what I do. You've been here. If you haven't been here before, I'm Bub. I tell stories, play video games. Generally, I play them pretty poorly, but you stick around because sometimes I say dumb shit. I'm often the butt of the jokes, but that's kind of the point of streaming, right? Good. We're on the same page. I gotta say thank you to all the broadcasters here because we were down 4 weeks, and it can oftentimes kill a lot of the morale for tabletop gaming, but you guys brought it today. I'm really happy that you did too. There was a lot of tension in the episode, and I thought for sure there was going to be like some physical altercations between characters. It was like, man, this is going to pop off. Yeah. Oh, for sure, for sure. You guys, you killed it. So thank you for that. Thanks to everybody who popped out. I appreciate you for being here, and I suppose you already know enough about me. Check out the Discord, discord.gg/bub. You're here whenever you're here. The Twitter, the Instagram, all that jazz. And we will see you tomorrow, and there's always next week for the next episode. Next episode is 19. So take it easy, guys. Peace. We're out of here.
You can buy ferns at Walmart.
What the fuck?